Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Inferno, and it's story time. So basically, I want to tell you guys a story. One is going to be Pokemon Go related, so yeah, don't worry. And two, it's going to take place right here in this little old corner right here. So let's not waste any time, because this is going to be a really long story. So as promised, this is the story you all been ready for. So this is it. I'm gonna tell you guys my experience at GoFest and at Chicago. So some of the things that you did not see from part 1 and part 2 of my GoFest adventure, I will tell you guys what happened right now. And oh my gosh, so much has happened. So I guess we'll start on Friday. So we're gonna start last week Friday. So remember, obviously there was a YouTuber meetup. Unfortunately, I was not going to make it because I wanted to work that Friday so I can make money for my other 2 trips after GoFest. So once I got off of work, I went home, got my stuff. Most of it was packed already, and then I went over to my friend's house. Her and her husband was going to drive us a certain portion of the way there. So here's what I mean by that. What my friend and her husband was going to do was they was going to spend the night in Hammond, Indiana. Not in Chicago, not in any city in Illinois, but a neighboring state in Indiana. Now there was 4 of us in this vehicle. Like I said, it's my friend and her husband, and another lady was with us. So me and this lady, we got dropped off at a training station in Hammond, Indiana called East Chicago Station. Anywho, we got on the train, and it was a very cheap train ride. It's like $7, and we took the train from Hammond, Indiana, all the way to Chicago. So now we in downtown Chicago. We got dropped off at the Millennium Station, which is near Millennium Park and Grant Park, the site of last year's GoFest. So after that, we went on separate ways. I called a Lyft, and I made it to my hostel. Now, after I settled in, I went back out, and I rented a bike and just rolled all the way down to Lincoln Park, the spot where GoFest was going to be. And I saw parts of GoFest. Started from the south side, you know, the south entrance or whatever, and kind of made my way up, but I didn't explore all of it because, for starters, I didn't even go the right way. Once I actually saw the layout, I didn't even go the right way. I started at the south entrance and I saw the tents, but as I was going north, I went off to a different path, and this part was not part of GoFest, but you know, whatever. I saw parts of it and I'm like, okay, this is too long of a walk. So I decided to take an Uber back to my house though. Fell asleep. Now we got Saturday. So Saturday I woke up, walked outside, and it was raining. So yeah, as you saw in Mr. 7 video, it was raining. So I went outside, I went to the back of my house though, because there's a 7-Eleven out there. I got some stuff, one of them being a poncho, because my rain jacket that I brought with me sucks. So I went in the 7-Eleven, got the poncho, got other stuff, came back out, and then I realized I never really opened the game today. So I opened the game. The first thing I saw was a item. Shiny. It was shiny.
Shiny, 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 yeah. Look at this shiny. I had lost my mind. Oh my, look it. It's another one. I feel sorry if you don't have one. I just caught a shiny where? In Chicago.
So obviously I was freaking out, and obviously I posted that video on Instagram. And of course I caught it. So my first shiny in Chicago turned out to be a shiny minor. So yeah, that was pretty dope if you ask me. So I went back into my house though, you know, got dressed, took a shower, all that stuff. And then I called an Uber on my way to GoFest. Now, on my way to GoFest, I was actually riding with this other guy who was also going to GoFest. And luckily for me, we were going at the north entrance, because remember, that's where I had to start off at that Saturday. And on the way there, all these Pokemon was all over the place. Alolan Geodudes, Alolan Diglets, Alolan Executors, you know, things of that nature. And I click on the Plusle, shiny. And not only was this Plusle shiny, it had good IVs. So we're talking between 80 and maybe 89%, I'm guessing, because I believe it had attack and defense at 13 and 14, or 14 rather. So, you know, good IVs for a shiny. So after that, we got dropped off at the north entrance, and obviously me and the dude went on separate ways. I had to wait for my friend to get there so she can get our tickets. So I'm at the real call sign for about 40 minutes, and that's when I saw Mommy. So for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about Lady Brittany. Now you remember my Indianapolis Community Day video, we had a tour guide named Brittany. So Brittany she went from our tour guide to the mother of all YouTubers. I crap you not. So that's why I call her mom, or mommy in this case, because that's what she is, really. That's what she is. Like, if you seen her at GoFest, at the Silk Road party, like, she was all over the place involving the YouTubers, you know, giving them water, make sure they do this and do that and things of that nature. It was crazy. It was really crazy. So shout out to mom. I'll get more on her later. So she checked me in, you know, the Silk Road at GoFest, so I got a badge for that. Saw some Pokemon Go players from my neck of the woods in Dearborn. They were up there, talked to them for a few minutes, told them what was going on, and then they dipped. And then, like, after 40 minutes of waiting, my friend and her husband, they finally showed up. We went to Real Call, we got our tickets, and I'm not going to explain the ticket scenario, but we had tickets for Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, we used that on our alt, as I said in my part 1 video. So this was not my main account, this is my other account. I was using my other account to play. So obviously I'm playing the game, walking in by myself, and the first YouTuber, as I said in the video, that I saw was DX1. And he was actually making a trophies trade because somebody actually traded him, I think it was an unknown Z or unknown J. He wanted both of them. I don't know what this guy had, but he had one of them. And I'm thinking to myself, dang, I could have traded him an unknown J. I do have an unknown J. So I could have traded him that for a trophies. Oh well. Like, I was like 5 minutes late, but whatever. So ran into him, we talked for a little bit, and obviously he got in my video. So then after that, you know, obviously we went on separate ways, and I didn't see him again for a long time. But I ran into another YouTuber in the form of Poketron. So y'all seen the video. So this, and then me, Poketron, his homeboy, I forgot what his name is. If you're watching this, I apologize. We never really introduced ourselves to each other. But the three of us, we were just exploring GoFest and was doing the Celebi, you know, special research. And of course we went into other YouTubers. So we ran into Zoe 2 Dots, Jake Kim. What? We ran into Dark Matter Wolf, which is a funny story in itself right there. I get more than a second. We ran into, it was just a lot of YouTubers that we ran into. And he tried to introduce me to Sparky Joy, but she was in a hurry at that moment. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna try to mess with that because she's in a hurry. She got her own thing to do, which is understandable and things of that nature. So we kept it moving. So here's what happened with the Dark Matter Wolf story. So on my alt, I ran across my second shiny Snorunt. And you know, Poketron, obviously they know each other, they both in Cali. So when Dark Matter Wolf saw me, I showed him what I had on my phone. He tried to make me run from it. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this is our first time meeting. Why are you trying to make me run from this? Like, what are you doing? And here's a fail moment for you guys. I tried to record myself talking to Dark Matter Wolf, but the recording didn't act right. I think what happened was, I don't know what happened, but I didn't get the recording. I got the vocal recording, but I didn't get the actual recording with the camera right here. So obviously there was no footage from that, so I can't use that. After that, again, we met more YouTubers. So like I said, we met J Kim, we met Maddie F Baby, and things of that nature. So we walking towards the North Gate, and you know, we talking to regular people. Poketron, he was giving out his business card, advertising his YouTube channel like crazy, things of that nature, and it was really cool. So when we met some of these YouTubers, some of them actually was getting us on their camera. Zoe 2 Dots, you know, I'm on her video. J Kim, I'm in his video. So you know, it was pretty cool. It was really, really cool to be in other people's videos, and it was also cool that they were in part of my videos as well. So yeah, there you go with that. So it's near the end of the day, and we went to the north, and then we came back to the south. And Poketron wanted to grind more, but I knew about this YouTubers meetup. You know, we talking the big timers here. We talking Trainer Tips, Pokemon Master Holly, Reversal, Mr. Seven, and then you know the two international guys, Daniel and Yamada. So I was like, I wanted to go see them. Really, I wanted to see Holly and Trainer Tips because, no offense to the other guys, so if you guys watching this, I'm sorry, no offense, but I had gifts for Trainer Tips and Holly. Like, I'm sorry. So I really want to give them their gifts. All of them were swamped. But luckily, Holly did notice me and got me on her live stream. She was live streaming on Twitter, and she got me on her live stream there. So I'm not sure if that's still up, but go check that out if it is. So anywho, and then they had to go, so I couldn't give them the gifts. So it was over. Now, before all of that, I met up with my homie Reggie, and we was hanging out as we were going to the South Gate. And then obviously when we got to the South Gate, we split up from Poketron and his homeboy. And we posed in front of the camera because they took a gigantic photo, things of that nature. And then after that, it was over. Day one was over. And what happened was, I was like, okay, I need another shirt, because I didn't realize I don't have enough shirts, because I want to change clothes for this party that was going on that night. And the party I'm talking about was the Silk Road party. So I'm like, okay. He tried to tell me about this TJ Maxx that's near his hotel. It's like walking distance or whatever. So we started walking towards this TJ Maxx. This is a long walk. But then on the way to the TJ Maxx, I found a Target. I'm like, man, there's a Target right there. Like, obviously we did a lot of walking. Then I found a Target. So I went to Target and got shirts. I'm wearing one of the shirts right now. Got some towels and some other stuff. And then I called an Uber back to my house store. Went back to the house store, changed clothes, and did all that stuff, took a shower again, all that stuff. And then on my way out the house though, towards Uber, I lost my gacha. Unfortunately, I lost the gacha. I think somebody picked it up once it fell off my wrist. So I'm going to order another one, and then I'm going to adjust it where it can stay on the wristband that I got. That is all black, because the wristband that it normally comes with is kind of like black. So anywho, I took an Uber to the Silk Road party, and here's what happened. I got there, it was booked. Like, it was straight up booked. There was a line for people who pre-registered. Like, they had to, look up their information and and show their ID and all that stuff. So I found out it was booked. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna stand out here, and when people leave, hopefully there's room for me to get in eventually. And then here comes Mom. So Mom saw me and she was like, what you doing? I'm like, well, they said it was booked. And she was like, just go stand in line. I'm like, okay. So I stayed in line. And the next thing I know, Mom came back with a ticket, a game card, and a wristband. And she was like, take your ID out. And I'm like, okay. Follow directions. I ain't questioning nothing. When Mommy gives you an order, you do it. And I got in. So I got in, and this party was crazy. I took about, I'm not exaggerating here, I took about 3 to 4 steps in, and people were coming to me. Like, it was crazy. Like, other YouTubers, people that I met at the community day in Indianapolis, and other people, they were just all coming to me, talking to me, want to get my handshake on the Silk Road. It was crazy. Like, and again, I only took 3 to 4 steps inside this party. So I'm like, okay, and then I was right there for like 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, I need to explore this spot, see who's all here, see what this place is about. So I went to the pool tables, and that's when I saw Sinbad. I saw Sinbad and Poketron and 2 other dudes with him. And I'm like, yo, Sinbad. So yeah, I was hanging out with Sinbad and Poketron for a bit, watching them play pool for 5 minutes. And again, I'm like, okay, I have to explore this place. I haven't seen all of it. So I was like, okay, cool. So I kept walking around, and eventually I ran into Tauntaun Train. Now, I saw him at GoFest earlier that day. I also saw Pierre at GoFest earlier that day as well. I didn't get a chance to talk to Pierre, but I did talk to Tauntaun Train twice. So that was pretty cool. And I'm walking around, and finally, after not seeing this guy, or really either one of these guys at GoFest that day, I finally ran into Hybrid Mongoose and Master Chi. I was like, where have you guys been? Like, what the heck? Like, no, I've been looking for you all day. What is up? So I was hanging with them for a little bit, and we ran into Kyler. And I'm like, oh snap, this is Kyler. So me and Kyler, we started talking for a little bit. It was crazy. So then I explored the rest of the spot. I went to the back. There was table tennis, and then I went, you know, to this other spot. There was bowling alleys, and then there was 2 bars in there, things of that nature. But there was one more spot that I failed to notice. It was like a private room that we could walk in. So I walked in there and I saw Poke Dave, I saw Prodigy's Nation, I saw Sparky Joy, I saw Zoe Two Dots, I saw Only One Link. You know, there was a lot of people. Though, like, if you was anybody, you was at that party. Obviously, Pokemon Master Holly DS1 did not go. Pokemon Master Holly said she was going, but she was like, you know what, I'm too tired, I'm just dead, I can't go. So I was like, dang, okay. So my mindset is, you know, the big timers, like the ones who are sponsored rather by Niantic, they're not going to show up. And because of the clip that I'm using in this video, I want to point this out right here, right now. Hashtag sponsor, hashtag Niantic, just in case. But anywho, so I went back there, I talked to Cruz for a little bit, and I talked to Pope Dave, and you know, I told him that like he was a real inspirational individual for just showing up in Chicago. Like, it was crazy if you know what happened to his ankles. But yet he still showed up, and you know, it was cool. It was cool talking to Pope Dave. And obviously I talked to Only One Link. He was really cool, man. That guy is really cool. So shout out to Only One Link. And I ran into Panda Man and Raph. Now Raph, there's an inside joke amongst the moderators for Pokemon Master Holly. So if you're amongst that squad, you know what the joke is. And I finally managed to get the job done. I told him that if I see him, I was going to kill him. And I did. But it was funny. It was all good, man. I can't believe he's that tall, though. I'm like, dang, he is that tall. But anyway, I saw Zoe Two Dots again, so I talked to her for a little bit. So while I'm in the private room, because I was in there for a good minute, I was like, oh snap, look who's walking in. So we got Reversal, we got Trainer Tips, and Daniel. And I'm like, what? They showing up? Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And Nick got strong, like, oh my gosh, here's how crazy it was. Here was everybody in this private room. Like I said, Sparky Joy was in there, Zoe Two Dots was in there, Prodigy's Nation was in there, CND was in there, you know, I talked to him. Who else was in there? I said Sparky Joy up. I'm not sure if Pokegirl was in there, Pope Dave was in there, Hybrid Mongoose was in there, even Reversal was in there. And yet everybody was around Trainer Tips. I crap you not. That's how crazy it was. So I was kind of worried about this guy. So and at one point, what happened was I was talking to Hybrid Mongoose and Chi in the back corner of the room. And then I saw Zoe Two Dots talking to this one guy on the sofa. I couldn't recognize her because, you know, I was staring at the back of his head. And then she sat on the armrest of the chair talking to this dude. Then some other dude showed up. I guess wanted her handshake or a picture with her or whatever, so she stood up. And I'm like, okay, who is this guy? So as I'm walking around the sofa trying to figure out who the dude was, a group of 4 showed up, wanted a picture with him. And that's when I saw him. I'm like, oh snap, this is Reversal. So somebody took the picture right here. I'm standing right here, and you know, he was posing. All of them was right here. So, and even though this is it's like a dark, it's something like a club setting, so to speak. So, you know, the lights are low and things of that nature. They had this bright flash on with the camera, so it looked like he was blinded. So I was just, here's all I said to Reversal. How many fingers am I holding up? And here's his reaction. True. That's how he was, man. It was cool. That was a cool moment, man. That really was a cool moment. So I talked to him for a little bit, and then, you know, I tried to talk to Trainer Tips. And there was an issue because his family tried, well, not his family, his sister tried to get in, but there was an issue at the front door, so he had to go out there to take care of that. Once he took care of that, he got swamped at the door, and then he made his way back into the private room. And at this point, Mom showed up like, okay, no more pictures, no more handshakes, he got to rest and chill, things of that nature. So I just came up to her like, I just want to give him a gift. That's it. And that's it. That's all I wanted to do. I just want to give him a gift. So I walk up to Nick and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I got these for you. So if you've seen his Aftermath Gold Fest video, you will notice there's pins at his desk. One of them was an Alola Vulpix. I gave him that. And the other one I gave him was an Alola Sandshrew, and I gave him some Pokemon cards. And in fact, you might have seen, if you look really hard at that desk, you will see a sticker upside down that says $12.99. I think that's for me. So he was like, oh man, cool, thanks man. And then, that was it. And I didn't talk to him throughout the weekend. So after that, I left the private room, and at this point I was hungry, and I had this ticket, I had this game card, so I'm like, okay, can I get food from this? So I went up to the bar, and they only gave me a Miller Lite. I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll take it. And I was like, okay, I got this game card. I want to use this game card. So I'm thinking Hybrid Mongoose, because he had a game card, either him or Chi, or both of them. They had their game cards, and I don't think they was going to use it. I think they were going to give it up. In fact, I think Chi gave me his. Yeah, Chi gave me his. And then I ran into Sinbad and Poketron and this another guy that was hanging with Sinbad, and they was gonna go play some games. So I'm like, oh, I'm down, let's go. So we went over there, we played some games, and I recommend you watch Sinbad's video. So we were playing air hockey or table hockey, whatever it's called. Oh, and me and Sinbad's dude, oh man, we had a intense battle, but he won. But it was so intense and competitive, it was crazy. And then we was racing. Now that is in Sinbad's video. And the first race, I came in second. The second race, I came in first. So technically, I won that. And then, we was, boxing with the punching bag thing, and Sinbad dominated that. But he got a score of 94.4, which was a record. Or the machine, it was crazy. Then we, me and Poketron, we shot some hoops. And then after that, now here's what happened. Before all of this went down, I forgot this one thing. It's 12 o'clock, or close to 12 o'clock, midnight rather, in Chicago time, when I'm getting my beer. I look at the door, there's Mystic 7, JT Gully, and the Scribe. So yeah, I actually saw JT Gully earlier that day. I spoke to Jake earlier that day, and I spoke to the Scribe, but I didn't get to speak to Mr. 7, obviously. So there was an issue with them getting in. I don't know if it's because it's close to midnight, or they're trying to get the Squad in. I don't know which one it was, but there was an issue and they were stuck at the door for a good minute. Now, I will admit they were smart, because at this point, a lot of people were leaving or had left already, as opposed to when Reversal and Trainer Tips got there, which was like 10:30, something like that, and they were swamped like crazy, especially Trainer Tips. So, while me, Sinbad, Poketron, and the other dude, we over there playing games, and we was actually leaving the game area. The Scribe was over there, so we talking Connor, I forgot the other dude's name, I apologize if you're watching this. Jake was over there, and JT was over there. So I'm like, man, I got 2 cards filled with, currency. So I'm like, okay, I'm done playing games. Yeah, yo, Scribe, yeah, y'all can have these. He's like, oh, for real? Cool, man. So I gave him our cards. We went back to the other side, and I don't know how late this was, but we was gaming for a good minute. So we went back to the other side, and I'm thinking, okay, everybody left. Like, there's hardly anybody over there. Like, it's over, it's done. There's hardly anybody over there. I walked over there. There was some people over there. Oh, yeah. And I also met Omnisec. So, shout out to, oh, my God, Omnisec. This dude is crazy. So, when I met him, it was in the private room. And he was like, yo, you True Inferno, right? And actually, like, at some point where I was in the private room the first time, I got hit for handshakes again. So it was crazy. I got swarmed myself for handshakes off the Cipro app. So, and he was like, oh man, I watch your content, I watch your Instagram, because you do some very hilarious stuff on there. And I just laughing, because I've done a lot of hilarious stuff on my Instagram. I recommend you follow it. But anywho, so that was cool. So, and also saw Real throughout that day and Sunday. But I went, so after we got done playing the games, all over the place with the story. So after I got done playing the games, we went back to the other side. Sinbad and Poketron and their crew, they were gonna go out and grind. I'm like, man, I can't do that, 'cause I gotta be at Go Fest the next day. Gotta plan on my main, blah, blah, blah. And I walked back to the other side. Here's who was still over there. Dark Matter Wolf was still over there. Will was still over there. Omasek was still over there. Hybrid Mongoose and Chi was still. I was shocked at that one. I was like, what y'all still doing here? Like, it's like 1 o'clock a.m., aka 2 o'clock Detroit time. So I'm like, what y'all still doing here? Like, what the heck? Oh, that's not it. Cruz was still over there. Sparky Joy, Lady Brittany, Zori 2 Dots, Kyler, Mystic 7, obviously, since the Scribe was on the other side. Reversal was still there. It was crazy. Like, all these people were still there. And I'm like, what? So, oh, and then the homie Mike Mike from Indianapolis. He was at Community Day. Oh man, shout out to Mike, man. That's a cool dude right there. He was there as well. So me and him, we was talking. You know, we was talking, and he was talking to Kyler. So what happened was, at some point, I actually met Mr. Seven. We talked for a little bit, you know, and you know, I didn't get no picture or anything like that. We just talked, you know, say, hey, what's up, man, and things of that nature. Cruz left, so I was like, all right, man, have a good one. And Lady Brittany left. So there's this round table. So here's who was sitting at this table. Kyler was sitting at this table. Lady Brittany and Cruz were sitting at this table, but they dipped. Reversal was hanging around the table, and I'm assuming he went to the other side because his squad was over there. So again, Kyler was at this table. Reversal was at this table. Zoe Two Dots was at this table. Sparky Joy was at this table. And there was chairs pulled up. And Dark Matter Wolf was sitting in one of the chairs. His girl Rose was over there, and another chick was with them. I don't remember who it was. So with Brittany and Cruz dip, you know, Mike offered me a seat at this table, this round table of YouTubers. But I was like, nah, you can have it, man. I like to ease my way into something like that. So Mike took this seat next to Kyler, and they started talking. And then, you know, he created room for me. So he's like, come on, Truth, sit down. I'm like, okay. So here I am at this round table of big time YouTubers. So that was pretty dope right there. And we was talking amongst ourselves for, I want to say 10 minutes or whatever. And then Sparky Joy became our aunt. Like, she became auntie because she was like, okay, everybody go. We gotta go. Everybody go. All y'all. We gotta go. It was crazy. So we left, and then obviously we took that one big picture that is on thesiproll.com, you know. So, and I'm chatting up with Zoe and Reverse a little bit, and even Sparky Joy, you know, it was cool. And Mike and Kyler, especially Kyler. Kyler's one cool dude. Oh, Hyperbonic was a Chila way before this happened. So when I came back, I'm like, what y'all doing here? Still doing here? Blah 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 blah. 5 minutes after that, they left. So after that, I went to my hostel, fell asleep. Now it's Sunday. So Sunday came, and again woke up. You know, I ate breakfast all, you know, Saturday and Sunday. Took a shower, you know, all that jazz, and then I went to Go Fest. This time I'm at the South Gate. So got out, walked through the South Gate. First person I saw was Sinbad. I saw Sinbad. So I was like, yo, what's up, Sinbad? So again, if you watch Sinbad, his day 2 video, he got me on there. So I was telling him, bruh, you got ticket at the North Gate and you got dropped off at the South Gate. So what happened was he actually, you know, got an Uber, and it just so happened that Pokegirl was in that Uber. So when they picked him up, hey, she was in there already. So she was hanging out with her for a minute. So I told him, you gotta go to the North Gate, because I looked this up. I'm like, can somebody in the South check in at the North and vice versa? Nope. If you got a North ticket, you gotta go to the North Gate to check in. So I'm like, bruh, this is a 2-mile walk. He wasn't there Saturday. I told him, I'm like, bruh, you're gonna be walking for 1.8 to 2 miles, there. It's no joke. So he's, you know, he didn't start walking yet, because we walked to the Mystic tent and I saw Mom again. I saw Lady Brittany, and then she was like, hey, can you do me a favor and get that girl with the purple hat? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Walked over there, Pokegirl. It was Pokegirl. So I told her, I'm like, hey, Lady Brittany wanted to see you at the Mystic tent. So she was like, oh, I'll be over there in a second. So she did a lap around the South Gate and came back to the Mystic tent. Me and Sinbad, we started walking toward the north. And obviously I started recording my video. So I'm not gonna go over everything that went on with this, with the recording, but I can tell you some behind the scenes stuff. So outside of Sinbad, because we went on separate ways, he went north, and I just took my time walking to the north because I'm doing the field research. I'm trying to get this done quickly so I can do my shiny hunting before, and I can get all this done before 4 o'clock, because another meet and greet was taking place 4 o'clock. More on that later. So second YouTuber I met that day, and obviously I met, you know, a lot of YouTubers over that day, but, you know, I only talked to them for a second because 1, I was pressed for time, and 2, I was like recording. I was kind of in recording mode, you know, so there you go with that. So the first, I started Sinbad, I don't remember who I saw next, but I remember I saw Sparky Jordan next. And she was like, hey, True Inferno. I'm like, hey, what's up, Sparky? And we're about to shake hands or, you know, give each other that, but she's like, nope, we gotta hug it out. And I hugged her. Yes. So there you go with that. So we talked for a little bit, and then we went on separate ways. I actually saw her a few more times. We exchanged a high five, which was pretty cool as we walked by each other. It was pretty cool. Saw J. Kim a few times. We talked for a little bit, and we went on separate ways. Because again, we was in recording mode. So, you know, there was no, hey, let me stop, get you. No, we was in recording mode, both of us. So, you know, it was all good. And then I saw Zoe 2 Dots. Now, this part did not get on camera because, again, I got her on camera, you know, the day before. So I wasn't going to do it again. Although, we did make a trade. And this is like one of the things I wanted to do at GoFest. Make a trade with Zoe 2 Dots. At first, I was thinking Pidgey for Pidgey. But then I'm like, no, I got a better idea. Togepi for Togepi. So yes, I got a Togepi from her, from Australia. And she got one from me, from some city around Detroit. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So we did that trade, and you know, I continued on with my business. So you know, I did the challenge, the special research. I got Celebi. So I went to 2 spots, the ice exhibit and the desert exhibit. Because the ice exhibit, we talking Whelmers, we talking Shelders, we talking snow ones. And at the desert exhibit, or habitat rather, we talking Aerodactyls. So shiny possibilities, folks. So I was at the ice exhibit, and then I ran into Pokemon Go NYC. Now this is another guy I wanted to see, and because he's one of the mods. And speaking of the mods, also the day before I ran into Mixon and Kirsten. So shout out to the both of you, because that was dope. And I also ran into D27 Lee. So shout out to you as well. And actually I saw him again Sunday as well. Unfortunately, I did not see Mixon or Kirsten on Sunday. I did see JT Valor again. He was at the party as well. So we actually met for the first time at the Civil War party. And then we met again Sunday. And I saw Hawk Frost Games Sunday as well. And technically I saw him Saturday. He's in my video, but I didn't recognize him. He didn't introduce himself. While I was filming Zoe 2 Dots, he was holding her umbrella. I didn't recognize him at first. But then Sunday when I saw him, I'm like, oh snap, what's up? And then as the days went on, I thought about it, I'm like, wait a minute, wasn't that him holding Zoe 2 Dots umbrella Saturday? So yeah, that was pretty funny. So, anywho, going back to where I last left off, I ran into James, because this is the guy I wanted to meet. You know, one of the guys I wanted to meet at GoFest. So, he saw me first. He was like,
yes, thank God. Yes, true. What's up, man? I was worried we might not cross paths because obviously it hadn't happened yet. But now it happened. I'm so psyched. I'm still streaming, by the way.
So, he was live streaming. He got me on his live stream. So we're talking, you know, the two of us, his son were there. So I said, hey, what's up to his, son? And me and James, we were talking, and I told him like, yeah, I just got done with the Celebi challenge and things of that nature. So me and him are talking. So I'm me. James like right here somewhere. Over there was a cameraman for Niantic filming the two of us talking. So I'm like, oh snap, there's a Niantic cameraman right there. So we were talking about him. I'm like, man, we could be in episode 2. All of a sudden,
conversation, it makes good. What'd you get? What'd you get?
Shiny Realmer, finally.
There you go. Nice.
Shiny Realmer for the first time, and I went ballistic. And you can hear me in the background in James' live stream. I went ballistic when I got that Shiny Realmer. It was crazy. So, caught the Shiny Realmer. No, actually before that, the cameraman cut the camera back on. He didn't get my initial reaction. He was like, oh man. So he was like, what you caught? I was like, I got a Shiny Realmer. I had my phone up. I got a Shiny Realmer. It was crazy. So if the conversation between me and James does not get on episode 2 of that Pokemon Go Summer Tour thing, my reaction certainly will. And I can't wait to see that. So talking to the cameraman for a little bit, he wanted my initial reaction. Cause I went ballistic. Because I always wanted a Shiny Realmer for the longest, and I finally got one, and I actually got 2 of them that day. So the second one I got, I think 15 or 20 minutes after receiving the first one. So unfortunately, that was the only 2 big time shinies that I got at GoFest. I got a shiny closer in mind earlier that day as well, and of course I got them the day before. But it was like I wanted more shinies. I tried to find more, but I couldn't. So I was like, okay, I gotta go. So I went to the meetup, to this meet and greet, and I went into Mike, because Mike was there. And the YouTubers wasn't there yet. And then I think 2 minutes after I went into Mike, here they come. Here's the YouTubers. So they show up. So I'm like, the Mike was like, yo, you should sit at the table. I'm like, man, I wish. And then Lady Brittany would just happen to be right there, front and center, not in line, but you know, next to the line, but still front and center behind the velvet rope. I'm like, man, Lady Brittany will kill me if I do that. So, but I walked over there beside her to see what could happen. Like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't trying to cut the line to try to get my pictures taken with them, anything like that. But you know, I was just want to see what would happen. Like, would they see me? Would they recognize me? Would they film me? Let's see what happens. That's all I did. So I went up behind Lady Brittany, and then she left that spot for a minute. So I was like, okay. So I hauled this spot right here. Pokemon Master Holly saw me, raved at me. Reverso saw me, you know, and he was smiling the whole way, things of that nature, which was cool. And then I saw, and I told you guys this story, but I'm gonna tell it to you again. I saw Pokemon Master Holly. She saw me, raved at me. Then she came up with ideas. She turned around, talked to one of the Niantic personnel, and I'm like, what are they talking about? And I think they're talking about me, and Niantic just gave her the green light to do something involving me. So she turned around, pointed at me like, hey, come here. They said he could come over here. So yeah, he come over here. And there was Niantic personnel right in front of me, you know, on the other side of the velvet rope. They lift that sucker up, and I ran underneath and walked straight to her. And all of it, I had no clue at the moment, but all of this was recorded by Pokemon Go NYC. He was live streaming right over there. So I went over there, talked to her, like, hey, what's up, what's going on? So obviously, I already told you what happened. She wants me to record people, and basically, they're going to tell me in 3 words what brought them to Go Fest. And I started doing that with her camera. So obviously, I was recording people with her camera, things of that nature. And obviously, with the good shooting skills, you know, it was smooth, not a lot of jiggling, anything like that, you know. So people would praise me for that once they saw her video, which was pretty cool. So then, Holly was like, okay, now I need you to go out and film the line, you know, get them excited. Like, say, hey, this is Holly's camera, you know, cheer, get a lot of things, that nature. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So I'm making my way to the line, and she was like, hey, wait a minute, True. And I'm like, huh, yeah. She was like, take these. As in her Pikachu ears. I'm like, what? So, if you want to see that, shout out to Film Blogs, because I put them joints on, even though I was wearing a hat already, I put them joints on with her camera, went out to the line. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm doing this. I don't know what to do. Oh my gosh. This is going to be very interesting. And then I passed Film Blogs. He was there all weekend, and you know, I talked to him for a bit all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. And I was like, yo, Holly's camera, Holly's ears. She told me to film the line and get them hyped up. So I got to the end of the line and made my way back. And obviously, if you've seen her video, I did that. But here's what you may not have seen. You may not have seen me, actually me and physically me, do this. If Film Blogs that little sneak, he was recording me with the ears on doing that. So if you see his video where he's talking to Kyler, he gonna put clips of me wearing her ears with the camera, getting people hype in the middle of his interview with Kyler. He did this twice in that video. It was crazy. So I made my way back to Holly, gave her ears back, and you know, we started doing our thing. And she was like, okay, that's enough. I got, you know, we got a lot of footage. Now you can record with your camera. So I'm like, okay. After I've been recording, you know, I just had it down at the table and just been recording. That's the time lapse at the end of my video, part 2 video. So obviously, you know, what happened when I was recording people, things of that nature. Everybody taking pictures with, you know, Holly in the game right before 2 hours. It was raining like crazy. So if you saw some people like wet and damp, that's right. Like at 5 o'clock, it was raining like crazy. And it only lasted for like 45 minutes, which was weird. Shout out to the homie Steve from Dearborn, downriver area. He showed up with his girl. They saw me. He came over like, yo, where Hyper Mongoose at? I'm like, he was at the Valentine. I actually saw him Sunday, so I talked to him for a bit before the meetup. And I also talked to Saturday. I talked to some Zip Road executives. I crap you not. So that happened Saturday as well. And so yeah, a bunch of YouTubers gathered around at the Valentine doing a meet and greet. So I missed that. I was busy. I was working for Holly. So there you go with that. And then of course it was over, and you know, at this point, Go Fest was over. So now we was near the media tent, and every YouTuber that was there just about was right there. So we talking JT Gully, we talking CND, we talking Zoe 2 Dots, Poke Girl, Sparky Joy, Hybrid Mongoose, J Kim, Project Nation, DX1, you know, Film Blogs, JT Valor, Poketron showed. I'm like, bro, where have you been all day? Oh my gosh. Will was over there. Film Blogs was over there. Kyler was over there. You name him, they were there. And but you know, as the time went on, obviously the big time YouTubers who was under Niantic, they left. They went to the Navy Pier. But you know, we were still hanging around the Mr. Tent, just talking amongst ourselves, things of that nature. And you know, some of them started to leave and things of that nature. So here's where things got crazy. So I'm not gonna tell you guys exactly everything that happened here, because DX1 is, I'm assuming and I'm hoping that he showed this clip, because it was crazy. Film Blogs actually recorded this in his video, and Sparky Joy was recording. So hopefully DX1 and Sparky Joy reveal these clips. So here's what happened. Now, before we get to this thing, I had to paint you guys a picture real quick. So it was me, it was Poketron, it was DX1. We were talking amongst ourselves, which is a rare sight, because we talking 3 African American Pokemon Go YouTubers talking amongst ourselves. Obviously, yeah, other people was there like Kyler and Sparky Joy and Zoe 2 Dots and JT Valor, you know, Fit Vlogs. And I actually saw Infamous Big Rob. He was there Sunday as well, but he was at this spot. Yeah, he showed up later. But the 3 of us, you know, me, DX1, and Pokemon, we were talking amongst ourselves. The only person that was missing from this is Panda Man, and I want to say Omnisync. I'm not sure if he's African American. I don't know. But if he is, he's missing from this too. So the 3 of us talking amongst ourselves, right? Which is a sight to be seen, to be honest, if you ask me. All of a sudden, here comes Only One Link. Only One Link came up, spoke to DX1 like, man, I know you've been to Spain, man, I need a trade. You did your special trade, or your special trade for the day? And DX1 was like, no. So he was like, what you got? So DX1 was like, man, I got trophies. I got 9 trophies though, as if he's saving all 9 for, 9 people, whatever. But then he was like, you know what? But since, you're my boy and I love you very much like a best friend, I'm gonna give you one. So Only One Link started going ballistic. So Only One Link was like, you know what? I'm gonna take your example. I only got one of name a Pokemon here. I'm not reveal what it is. I only got one of these. But because I love you so very much, I'm gonna trade it to you. And DX1 went ballistic because he don't have this yet. So he was like, oh my gosh. And then he whipped out the camera and he gave like the most emotional speech about friendships and sacrifice and Pokemon and all this stuff. It was so emotional, so special, man. Me, Poketron, Kyler, Film Blogs, and then eventually Zoe 2 Dots and Sparky Joy, they came over. We was like, well, the guys, we was and JT Valor, I forgot JT Valor was there. We was acting up, man. Like we was like, oh my gosh, and then, I don't know what they started doing first, but then I was like, imagine it, like, and Sparky Joy saw this and started recording, so we were doing this, and then me and Kyler, we was wearing hats, so we took our hats off and just held it on our chest and just bowed down. It was crazy. And then we was like, shh, yo, Sparky Joy, you gotta record this. Like, Sparky, come on, you gotta record this. Like, go. It was funny. And then I had a towel, around my head and things like that, so I used it to like wipe off imaginary tears that cut off my eyes. And then, we was acting up while this one was giving this emotional speech. And it was so heartwarming that I fainted. I fainted. And I knew JT Valor was standing near me, so I just turned and fainted on this. And everybody who saw that died. Poketron died. I think Sparky died laughing. And then at the end, DX1, he got so excited and took off running because the trade was made and he got name a Pokemon in his Pokedex, in his collection. He went ballistic. We were cheering from the background. It was crazy, man. That was funny. That was hilarious. That was just fantastic. So after that, like I said, everybody started to leave. So now there was 7 of us left. So it was me. Hyper Mongoose came back. It was Kyler. It was Poketron. It was Film Blogs, JT Valor, and Infamous Big Rob. So we were just talking amongst ourselves for a minute. You know, we sat this ridiculously long bench talking amongst ourselves. And it was like, hey, let's go get something to eat. So we took this long walk to Five Guys. We went in there and we started talking amongst ourselves. We got 2 pictures taken among, you know, of the 7 of us at Five Guys. And, you know, we're just talking about YouTube and how to make our videos better and things of that nature and other stuff. I'm not going to reveal everything we talked about because that's just amongst us. I'm not going to share that with you guys. So, after that, Hyper Mongoose got a text from somebody asking him, yo, where you at? Because he was going somewhere later that night with the Lights to hang out with the Lights of Reversal in, you know, Mississippi in that crew. And I'm not sure who, but I don't know who, but it sounded like somebody wanted to roll with him. And I knew better. I was like, bro, if we're not invited, I don't think they're gonna like us just crashing their party. So, you know, I'm just chilling back and just listening to this whole idea. Now, don't get me wrong. If Hybrid could pull that off and take all of us or just me with him, I'll be like, you sure about that? You sure they won't be mad at you? And if he said yeah, I'll be like, okay, it's on you. Let's go. But, you know, I ain't gonna push that issue. I mean, come on now. So, and I believe Kyler went with him. So Hyper Mongoose and Kyler, they left. Infamous Big Rob left. So now it was just the 4 of us. Oh my gosh, the 4-man squad. This was hilarious. So it was me, it was Poketron, it was JT Valor, and it was Film Blogs. We went outside Five Guys and we just standing there talking. I remember the whole clear backpack scenario. JT Valor had one and Poketron had the one as well. Now, one of them had the Pokemon bag that you could get from GameStop for $20, the one with all the Pokemon around it. I forgot who it was. So this old Caucasian dude showed up and he saw their backpacks. Now, I had the mesh backpack, but you can still see inside of it. So this old dude walks up and he was like, what are you guys? Y'all in the 5th grade or something? So he got on there because of that backpack. So I explained to him, well, we was at this event, and the event called for everybody to have clear backpacks so they could just look from the outside and say, move on, as opposed to this guy, like this 5th dude showed up. We were talking to him a little bit because he wanted to trade for a Blaziken that knew Stone Edge. He had like an actual backpack. So I was like, you know, as opposed to this guy where you have to unzip every pocket and look in and stuff like that. So you're like, okay. And, you know, we started talking about Pokemon because, you know, this is an old dude. So he remembered the trading cards. So Pokemon was like, yeah, you know, started with the trading cards. Then move on to the comics. Then move on to the animated show. And now it's a mobile game. So then this dude was like, okay, let me ask you guys a serious question. When was the last time any of you got laid? And I was like, bruh. And then he started walking, started across the street. I'm like, where you going? I'm about to answer that question for you. He was like, no, I'm gone. He had like some paper in his hand. He threw it on the ground towards her feet. Nope, I'm gone. We was dying laughing. I was wrong with it. I can't believe he roasted us like that. I was going to answer the question. I was going to like make up some crap like that. Make up some crap on the fly like, man, it was last week. Or something on that, something like that. I don't know what I was gonna say, but I was gonna say something. So eventually I was gonna go to my house and start editing. And then it was like, hey, let's go shiny hunt. Let's go to the pier. So I'm like, okay, so either the pier or Grant Park. And I'm like, well, Grant Park there's a lot of Pokestops there. It's lowered up. It's gonna be dope. But at the same time, I never been to the pier. So we decided to go to the pier. So we took this one van of an Uber and went down to the pier. And by the time we got to the pier, it was dark and things of that nature. And here's what happened. On our way to the pier, JT Valor found a shiny Snover. So when we saw it, we was like legit excited. We was like, ah! You know, we was screaming. We was like legit hype. We was legit excited. And then he clicked off it and then he cut his screen recorder on, and then he clicked on it again. Bruh, and then we did the funniest reaction to that. Oh my gosh. Hang on, I got to get it. It is too hilarious. I was dying.
Oh,
It's so tiny.
Oh, that is so funny. Okay, so we got out the Uber and Poketron, he caught like 2 or 3 shinies at the pier. So prior to this, I'm like, dog, this place is dope. And there are shiny possibilities everywhere. So I started live streaming myself. So I started live streaming. And Poketron was recording. And, you know, he was catching shiny. He caught like 2 or 3 shinies at the pier. And I was talking about that emotional speech that DX1 gave earlier that day. I was crying at the live stream. I'm like, Poketron, take over. I can't do this. So then he took over. He found the Aerodactyl. What's the shiny? He tried to catch it for me. It ran. So, you know, I'm like, okay, whatever. It wasn't shiny. Probably wasn't in good IV, so whatever. And I caught a bunch of them, you know, all weekend, so whatever. So I took it back, and I'm like, and I crap you not, these was my words. I was like, man, I need a shiny to, you know, to change my mood, because I'm still emotional. So, you know, I'm thinking of the wrong squad. The mod squad was in my live stream. So I'm like, man, Bridget, shout out to Bridget, you just don't understand how emotional of a speech that was that DX1 gave. And I'm like, oh look, there's an Aerodactyl, shiny. And I'm like, oh, you know, I just start freaking out. I'm like, yes, I got a shiny Aerodactyl. I've been looking for this as well. Not as much as a shiny Realmer, but I still been looking for this nevertheless. So I got this sucker. So we left the pier because it was actually closing the pier. And actually there was a restaurant at the pier. We went in there, we got some drinks, you know, because we owe Valor, JT Valor, you know, some drinks or whatever, because he paid for our Uber. So we was like, okay, yeah, we got the drink. So actually Poketron paid for his drink. And I had Patron and Sprite, which is where he had. I heard him say, I'm like, ooh, Sprite, let's do that. So we got the same drink. And then he got another one. So he's like, you get another one, True? I'm like, nah, I'm good. One is good for me, man. You know, because that drink was like $11 or something like that. So I'm like, yeah, you know, I try to save money. I was going to Vegas, but my boys changed the Vegas trip to a Chicago trip, like days before GoFest. And then I told him, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming back to Chicago in a few weeks, and then I'm going to the Bahamas after that, so I'm trying to save money. She's like, oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, get him another one too. I'm like, bro, are you serious? So shout out to Poketron for getting me another drink, man. Poketron really cool, man. That's a really cool dude right there. So we was in Pokegirl's live stream. She was live streaming because she was out and about Chicago, and I was telling her, come to the Navy Pier. Shiny possibilities are everywhere here. Miami accidentally. So after that, we left the pier and we was walking around. We tried to get to Grant Park, and we trying to figure out when they going to close the spawns. Are they going to close it at midnight or 2 a.m. our time? We didn't know when these spawns were going to disappear. So it was like 11:54 p.m. Chicago time. Finn Blogs got his first shiny Cluster. And he was like, oh my God. And we was like, what? And then we saw it. We was like, oh, snap. So we was fooling. He started he started recording. And this is in his video as well. So all 3 of us was in the background of his video as he caught his shiny Cluster. I took a picture of him doing it and posted it on Twitter. It was crazy. Because as soon as midnight hit, we went to Grant Park. All these crazy spawns went away. They went back to normal. And we was at Grant Park, and the reception there was terrible. It was like GoFest 2017 all over again. The connection was bad. And I tried, and you know, it was like, I tried to release this video on social media about, oh, the spawns were back to normal, the connection is terrible. It was funny. There was a regular Diglett. And we was like, what the F is this? Like, what is this? What is this? It was crazy. So after that, we did a little bit more walking, and then we was like, okay, there's nothing popping right now. So we should just call it a wrap. So we all called for our own individual Ubers and went our separate ways. And that's basically it. Like, I went back to the hospital, slept, woke up the next day, hung out with my friend and her husband who took me to Indiana. I was gonna ride with them back to to Michigan. and we ate at this fancy restaurant, and then we went back to Michigan. So yeah, that's it. That's everything that happened to me at GoFest. So I know this is a long video, but I had to share with you guys everything that happened at GoFest. It was fantastic. A bunch of stuff happened to your boy that weekend, all weekend long, and there was not no one shiny. It was not just one shiny moment that made me go, this moment like outshines every other. Yeah, you could say, what about the whole you working for Holly scenario? Cause we saw the result of that. Like, that joint got at least 15,000 views. If you don't know what I'm talking about Holly's GoFest video, her first GoFest video. So go check that out. So yeah, obviously because of me working for Holly, you know, recording with her camera and things of that nature, look what happened. But as phenomenal as that is, there were still other moments that still happen. You know, witnessing DX1 get that trade off. You know, hanging around with Poketron, JT Valor, and Finn Blogs. The shiny Snorlax scenario. You know, meeting the other YouTubers, getting a hug from Sparky Joy, sitting at the round table with the likes of Kyler and Reverso and Zoe 2000 and Sparky Joy, being a part of that picture. You know, the Silverboard party as a whole, meeting trainer tips, speaking with Poke Dave, meeting the mod squad. Like, you know, it was crazy. The whole entire weekend was phenomenal. And I didn't even talk about the game. You know, I got 3 shinies. I caught 2 shiny Snorlax on my alt. I'm trading one of them to my main. And I caught a shiny Aerodactyl on my mains. And 2 shiny Realmers. And, you know, I could be on Niantic TV. I could be on episode 2 of Niantic's Pokemon Go Summer World Tour, whatever that thing is called. I could be in episode 2. So much stuff has happened to your boy. That was one of the greatest weekends I have ever experienced. And then, you know, that's happened, man. I go, man, I wish this weekend could keep going and going and going. But then, there's the Bahamas trip. So, I mean, you know, I'm happy with that. So, I just wanted to share my story with you guys. And we could be, I'm going to say expect more stories like this in the future, because who knows what could pop up. But hopefully, you guys like this format right here. It's a long one, but you know, it had to be told to you guys. So I'd like to thank everybody that I met at GoFest. I'd like to thank everybody, whether you're a YouTuber or not a YouTuber. I'd like to thank you guys for meeting me. 3 guys came up and said, hey, True Inferno, what's up? That was not YouTubers. You know, one of them wanted, I think 2 of them wanted my picture taken, and one of them was a kid. So for, you know, that was dope as well. You know, everybody who wanted my simple handshake, it was phenomenal. I'd like to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for making GoFest a wonderful experience, from Niantic personnel to the YouTubers to you guys who are not YouTubers. You know, everybody that I met, that I hung out with, that I spoken to at GoFest. It was truly an amazing experience. And I'd like to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and especially Pokemon Master Holly for that video she put out. Man, I can't, wow. Man, that's just crazy. So, with that said, y'all know who this is. This is your boy, the new Jay Gatsby, aka New Steve Day Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see you next time. Yeah.
After you subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the bell icon so you never miss a new video or a live stream ever again. Thanks, guys.